Hey you guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. Rine, Mr. Smith Kitchen, as always. It's Wednesday, and although it's been a very busy day, been doing a lot of baking, a lot of canning. Have kind of a busy week. I did 4 pumpkin rolls this morning. 2 of them for customers, 2 of them for a benefit that's going on here locally for a young man who needs a kidney transplant. He's good. His family's a good friend of ours. Amazing little 6-year-old, and had some bad things happen. So I made a couple pumpkin rolls to go to a blind sale auction for baking. But anyhow, thought we'd take a break and do dinner. Hold on, my daughter Sarah needs paper towel. Paper towel. Tonight we're gonna do a apple blossom glazed pork tenderloin. And much like last week, I got the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. Absolutely love this cookbook. It's got, I mean, if you happen to find a copy, definitely snag it. It not only does it give you different recipes, but they're all based, obviously, around the Harry Potter series. And they're all actual things they ate in the movie. And it gives you a little history about some of the meals that you cook in this. So it just is really a cool book. It has lots of good things to eat in it, and this recipe I'm going to guess is relatively old, based on the fact that there's something in it that I didn't even know existed, which is pickled watermelon rind. Never heard of it. Unfortunately, I can't get a hold of it quick enough. If I'd have paid more attention, I would have ordered online. You can make it yourself, and I mean, so I'm probably going to end up making some myself. I just got to go get a watermelon. That way when we eat the watermelon, save the rind, and you make pickled watermelon. It's very sweet, kind of savory from what I'm to understand reading on it. So I had to find a workaround for that in this recipe, because like I said, I don't have it. So I looked at a few different recipes, and kind of based on this, substituted a little. So that being said, if you're new to my channel, this is your first video, thanks for stopping by. If you're returning, thank you as always. Subscribe button right below me, hit that along with the thumbs up, thumbs down, either one really. Both those get us out into the algorithm for YouTube, which then in turn grows our community. If you are new to my channel, we're all about being good neighbors and good people through food, basically. I try to show you how to do different recipes. Most of them are new to me, first time trying it. That way you can see if I can do it, then you can do it too. I mean, cooking's not hard. Baking isn't hard either. But yeah, those 2 buttons, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, do a lot for us, and help us grow. Our community is strong. It's getting stronger every day. We got lots of new subscribers, which thank you for subscribing. Notification bell is right next to the subscription button, and that just lets you know my videos come out. Wednesdays and Thursdays, almost always. I've been trying to do Saturdays, even though I missed last Saturday. Really busy day at the office. So we'll try to get one out this Saturday. No guarantees, though. Things are getting kind of hectic. But at least Wednesdays and Thursdays. So, that being said, let's get the camera down here to the counter, and then that way we can get started. Doesn't have a lot of ingredients at all. It just throw it together, put it in the oven. This should take less than 45 minutes, maybe 50, but most of that's in the cook time. So, let me get you down to the counter. Hold on for me 1 second. Alright, so, down here to the counter, as always. And things we're going to need a roasting pan and 2.5 pounds of pork tenderloin or pork loin, either one will do. This recipe works well for both. So I've got about 2 3/4 pounds of pork tenderloin in here. It's 2 pieces. If there's a large abundance of fat on either of your porks, go ahead and trim that off. We don't want that on there. So we're just going to set that in the roasting pan, and then we got to make the glaze that's going to go over top of it. So, thank you, ma'am. So to make this glaze, we are going to need a saucepan, right? And in this saucepan, we are going to combine 1 cup of water. All right, we are going to combine 1 cup of honey, but was just shy of 1 cup. I got 3/4 cup of honey in there, but I'm going to add a little more of the next ingredient to make up the difference in that. Let me go grab a spatula real quick so I can straighten that out. Alright, spatula real quick. Go ahead and get that honey out of there. And like I said, this recipe called for pickled watermelon rine, which there are lots of recipes to make it, and can it and store it and jar it. And it's, I guess, a very old school American treat, basically, and which I think is awesome. But I, like I said, never even heard of it before today. And to our 1 cup of water, half a cup of honey, or 1 cup of honey, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of apple butter. Use whatever apple butter you like or you have available to you. We make our own apple butter. Matter of fact, this is our last jar. I couldn't have timed that a whole lot better. And then we're simply going to mix this up, just like such. There we go. Get it nice and combined. Here is that. And then okay, so we've got a ton of sweet in here. And we need a little bit of savory. And I know that the watermelon rind has apple vinegar in it. So I'm just going to put a half a cup of apple vinegar in there, which will not only give us that little bit of apple flavor, the tartness of the apple flavor, but the acidity will help break up all that sweetness with the honey and then the apple butter. So we got that on there. I'm going to turn this on a medium-high heat. I'm going to add a half a cup of dried cranberries, just like such. And then I'm going to add, got that on the wrong heating element. There we go. I don't need the big heating element on, just the little one. But we're going to add a half a teaspoon, or I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper to this. Yeah, now, as far as that goes, if you don't want to use a whole teaspoon, don't. That may just not be your gig, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. So, if you don't like that much heat, don't add that much to it, or don't put it in there at all. But I think it helps balance it, so you might want a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then once it's to a boil, we'll turn it off and let it set for 10 minutes with the lid on it. Okay, so bring it up to a boil, turn it off, put the lid on it, let it set for 10 minutes. Okay, so we are boiling. So, like I said, all we got to do now is turn it off, put the lid on it, take it off the heat, and let it set for 10 minutes. One thing I didn't mention that I should have in the beginning is we want to preheat our oven to 325 degrees. I just simply turned it on when I started heating this up. And it's about to go off now. So 325 preheated. As soon as we get that set for 10 minutes, we will go ahead and move on to the next step. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, so we let our sauce sit for 10 minutes with the lid on, just like it said to in the instructions. Now, while that was sitting, I went ahead and even though I didn't say it in the directions for this particular recipe, just to be able to get some of this glaze down in there and get some of the flavor of this sauce into the pork tenderloin, I went ahead and I took a knife and I made X's, basically. I cut it this direction at an angle, and then I cut it the opposite direction at an angle, and I flipped it over and did the same thing. I basically made hash marks in it. So now that we've got our pork roast in here, and I patted it dry. Anytime you're working with meats, you want to make sure they're dry. They always get a little bit of moisture on them when they take them out of the package or whatever. You want to take a paper towel or something and just pat them dry. But we're going to take about half our glaze and pour it on top of our tenderloins here. Just like such. And then we'll put the lid back on it. We're not going to dump all the glaze on here at once. We're going to let this soak into it and caramelize in the oven, and then when we're getting near the end, we'll put a little more on, and then we'll a little more on. Oh, that was funny. So got that on there. Now, what do we have to do next? Like I said, we'll put our lid back on our glaze, but we let this. We let everything set for 10 minutes. We're getting ready to getting ready now. We have to just put this in the oven. All right. So we're gonna put it in the oven at 325. We've already got our oven preheated, right? And then we're gonna let this roast for 30 minutes. I'm gonna do it with the lid off. I'll keep an eye on it. If it starts to burn, then I'll put the lid on it. But I'm just gonna leave the lid off of it and put it in the oven. And we're gonna do it for 30 minutes. And then we have to take it back out, do a couple things, and put it back in. So get this in the oven, and I'll be right back, and we'll do the next step. All right, see you in a second. Pop this out of the oven right quick. Now I did put the lid on it after about 15 minutes. It was starting to brown a little, looking good, and I just went ahead and lidded it. I don't want it to dry out. So got the lid on there. Now we need to, don't want to turn our oven off or anything yet. Go ahead and pop that top off right quick. Oh, it's looking fantastic here. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'll bring it up here so you can. I mean, that's just after 30 minutes. It's looking so good. So good. So, now what we got to do is make sure I don't drop the camera. Is we're going to take just a half of what's left of our glaze here, our sauce, and we're going to pour it back over top of this. And it's starting to thicken up even just sitting there because it's as it cools down, the honey and everything will get back into it. But we'll go ahead and pour, like I said, half of what we got left of that sauce, about a quarter of the sauce on top of there. And then we're going to stick it back in the oven for 10 to 15 more minutes. We're looking for a temperature of 145 degrees with this. So when I come back, we'll pull it out of the oven, give it a temp, and see what we got to do next. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, timer just went off for the second time, so it's out in there for 10 minutes. Go ahead and get it out. Ooh. Note to self: don't leave them right over the oven when you open it. All right, so here is how we're looking. I think it looks fantastic. It's got a nice color to it. So now we just got to get these out. Well, actually, that is not true. Next step, we're going to cover this with the lid, like such, and we're going to let this rest for 10 minutes. Per the directions. So, 10 minutes, lid on, just sitting there resting, letting everything settle down. And then when we come back, we can get it plated and cut it up and then try a piece. All right, be right back. So we let it rest for 10 minutes. I did temp it, and I didn't think to video it, but we temped out at 164. We just needed to be above 140. So that's the proper temperature for pork, unless it's ground, and then you want it up above 180. So we're going to go ahead and grab our tenderloins and get them out here onto the tray. I'll do it one at a time, so I can get them both on there and get them cut. And then all we got to do is take our knife and grab a meat fork, and we're going to slice this up. Unlike the last pork tenderloin we did, where we shredded it, this one we're just going to cut into pieces. So that way, everybody can enjoy a nice piece versus shredded. I mean, I suppose you could shred this too, but that'd be a little weird, I think. Maybe, I don't know. All right, let me get these both cut up, and then we'll put our glaze on the top and give it a taste. Okay, we got her sliced up. Now we just have to take some of the last bit of our sauce here. I mean, you don't have to use it all, I suppose. You could leave a little on the side to put in a cup to give to your guests to use. But we're just gonna pour some more of this sauce on here. Now we got it all sliced up. I'm telling you, that looks amazing. I know it smells good. I know it looks good. That means we're 2/3 of the way there. But there is our pork tenderloin. I think it looks fabulous. So I will get a small plate that I have running around here somewhere behind me. There it is. And we're going to try us a piece or two or three. Now I'm serving this with rice and corn. Yeah, but you could really serve this with about anything if you so desire. You could do a salad with it. You could do potatoes. Yeah, this would go good with like a baked red potato. Would be amazing with this, and some fresh green beans. Would be really good. There we are. Last little bit of sauce on there. And there is our apple cranberry pork tenderloin. I wish I could remember what the name of it was. The exact name, but basically apple and cranberry. Alright, let me grab a fork real quick. I can tell you by cutting it that this pork is super juicy. So hopefully we'll, you know, it will be as juicy when we take a bite of it, because tenderloin has a tendency to want to be not juicy, very dry, very bland. Let me get a piece cut here. It's tender enough I can cut it with a fork. You know, and that's saying something right there. But let's give her a try. Okay. It tastes like the holidays. It tastes like fall. That is outstanding. Just outstanding. Man. Superb. The tenderloin is juicy. Where we cut the cross marks in it, the crosshatch marks in it, it allowed all that flavor to get down into it. I don't know if it would have done that otherwise. It didn't say to do it, but I, just from watching and learning, I know if you don't tenderize it to open up those pores to let everything come into it, you know, the cut marks, you know, the X's basically in your meat will allow that to happen. So that is really, really good. I'd recommend this. Hey, maybe not an every other week meal, but I would definitely add it to the recipe box, you know, if you have one at home. And keep this on hand, especially if you're having company. It's so easy to make, takes no time, and has so much flavor in it. It's sweet, it's savory, it's got a little kick because of the crushed the peppers. Yeah, but not enough that it would deter you from eating it. Even somebody who doesn't like spices would like this, hands down. But it's definitely sweet and savory. So, give this a try. Let me know if you do. I'd be curious to see what you think. You may love it, like I do. I really like this. You may hate it. You may be like, Brian, that was horrible. Why did you even bother? Either way, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. So, tomorrow, I have no idea what we're going to bake yet. Like I said, it's been busy all day today, and I got more stuff to make tomorrow. But we are going to make something. Might be cookies, might be a cake, might be a pie, might be something. Who knows? But we're going to definitely bake something. So, give this a try. Let me know what you think, all the same. But that being said, I'm going to go take this to the table and enjoy my family and their company. I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them, and you love them very much. invite them over for dinner and have some of this tenderloin. They're going to know that you're a good friend, and it'll make a good conversation. All right. So till tomorrow when we'll bake something, not sure. I'll see you then. All right. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.